'Twas the night before Christmas. That's Christmas Eve, and Santa was wiping his brow on his sleeve.
Green elves were sewing, blue elves were counting, red elves were carving, the pressure was mounting.
Be quick, Santa bellowed. There's so much to do. My list is so long, it just isn't true.
The elves put their heads down and trebled their speed. 10 billion presents was what they would need.
Swing balls were tested, puppets were strung, board games were boxed, slinkies were sprung.
Skateboards were oiled, yo-yos were threaded, dollies were dressed, teddies were tedded.
The workshop resounded with elves hard at work. There was no time to rest, there was no time to shirk.
Santa looked down and studied his list. He was sure there was something he'd missed.
Aeroplanes, bicycles, boomerangs, drums, pogo sticks, spinning tops, sugar mice, sugar plums.
He ticked all the boxes, then turned with a jump. Mrs. Claus had arrived with a plate and the hump.
Santa, she grumbled, you've been asked, you've been told. Now look what has happened, your dinner's gone cold.
Santa frowned crossly. I've no time to eat. There's reindeer to ready and deadlines to meet.
The cold winter stew got plonked on a table. Santa harumphed and went to the stable.
Up Dasher, up Dancer, up Donner and Blitzen, up Comet, up Cupid, up Prancer, up Vixen.
The reindeer woke up and climbed to their feet. They had slept for a year and needed to eat.
With reindeer refueling and time ticking by, Santa ran out and looked at the sky.
The North Star was twinkling, snowflakes were falling, excitement was building, Christmas was calling.
Back in the workshop, the shelves were now lined with presents and gifts of every kind.
Kites had been ribboned, printing sets inked, spinning tops balanced, tiddlies winked.
Toys had been tested, batteries loaded, instruments tuned, computer games coded.
Remember, said Santa, our schedule is tight. The elves gave a nod and worked through the night.
Pop guns were loaded, footballs inflated, candy canes twisted, train sets tin-plated.
Dolls' clothes were folded, annuals were printed, tangerines polished and chocolate coins minted.
Santa thought hard as the present piles grew. He was sure there was something he'd forgotten to do.
With takeoff time now only hours away, he raced back outside to inspect the sleigh.
The elves in high vis had done Santa proud. Ta-da! They exclaimed as they threw off the shroud.
Jet washed and polished, red, silver and gold, the sleigh was a picture, a joy to behold.
Good job, Santa shouted. 3 cheers for you. If I didn't know better, I'd say it was new.
Inside the workshop, the elves began clapping. The presents were made. It was time to get wrapping.
Paper was folded, scissors were snipped, labels were written, fountain pens dipped.
Keep going, cried Santa. It's Christmas Eve morning. There's no time for breakfast and no time for yawning.
I guess you could say that elves have the knack. See? 10 billion presents in one magic sack.
You've done it, cheered Santa. We are done, we are there. And not only that, with minutes to spare.
He ran through his list and checked it all through. What was it he'd forgotten to do?
With a wave to his helpers, he raced to the sleigh, made himself comfy and sat-naved the way.
Giddy up, Santa cried with a nod and a wink. The reindeer took off and were gone in a blink.
As dry leaves before are spent hurricane slow, so calmness returned to the landscape below.
Chaos and mayhem became stillness and peace until Mrs. Claus ran out in her winter fleece.
Santa! she panted, jumping the gate, but Santa was gone. Mrs. Claus was too late.
It's the same every year, she said with a wave. Nicholas, my dear,
You've forgotten to shave! We really hope you enjoyed our story. Have a Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!